Hello guys, welcome to the channel here today for another match preview because guys, this Saturday Barcelona will play against Celta Vigo. There is no time to rest, there is no time to lie on our pillars because we know that after the game against Real Betis, after the game against Royal Antwerp, those two great performances that we have seen from our team, it's time to go out there for another game, for another La Liga game against Celta Vigo. And this time guys, we know that the Celta Vigo is always complicated to play with there, to play against them, is whether at home or away, it's always complicated. We always find it very difficult to compete against them, and the game is most of the time is ended up by us losing points, sometimes even losing the game, not getting any points at all. This time around guys, we need to go out there and get the job done as we did against Real Betis and we did against Royal Antwerp in the Champions League. This time there is no time to fool around or to lose any point. We are going out there to do the job. We do indeed start with our opponent Celta Vigo because since the start of the season they have just managed to get one victory out of the 5 games that they played. It was very difficult for them and most of the time they are losing the game, but just by 1 goal difference. It's very tough for them actually. And let's mention that they have a new coach, Rafa Benitez, who is someone who is very known in the footballing world. He managed Liverpool, Real Madrid, and also a lot of teams around Europe, and we already know him. So this time we are going to face his team. He's the one who's managing Celta Vigo, and we know that Celta Vigo, we have plenty players who's from Barcelona who are playing there. The kind of Oscar Mingueza, and also I think Carles Perez, I think Denis Suarez, they are all playing for Celta Vigo now actually, and we have to be very careful because we know that it's not always easy for Barcelona to face like former teammates, former Barcelona players. They always end up scoring goals against us and having their dreams like to play against Barcelona and score goals against us, and it's always a nightmare for us. But this time we have to get ready. And as for our team, Xavi, we know that we have games coming up and also the Champions League and all those kind of things. The calendar is very heavy, it's very difficult for us, but we have to go out there and compete. And you know, next week we are going to have like a mid-game, a league mid-game against I think Mallorca, and also we're going to play Sevilla in the weekend. But guys, this time you have to get it right, and every single game, like take it step by step, game after game. Don't lose the momentum, maintain the same energy, the same football that we playing since the start of the season, since those 2 last games that we played against Betis and Royal Antwerp in the Champions League. You have to get it right. I know that maybe Xavi is going to start making some changes, try to rotate because the calendar is very heavy. But I think he should like maintain the structure, the basic structure of the team, not to rotate too much. Maybe make 2 or 3 changes and maintain like the whole structure, the whole structure of the team like intact. Do not disturb it in a way that is going to cost out so much, because we have to be very careful. Those teams, they can put us in a very difficult situation if they got an early goal, and then they will always try to disturb the game, making fouls, all those kind of things. It's just going to be very difficult. We know that how things went against Getafe. That first game that we lose 2 points, by the way, and we have to be very careful this time. And I think after what we have seen against Real Betis and also Royal Antwerp, the team that we have seen, Xavi made few changes in the Champions League. Romeo who started on the bench, and also we have seen Ferran Torres was starting on the bench and Rafinha starting the game. This time around, I think that Xavi is going to make few changes, and we are going to see maybe few different changes. Some players going to get few game time, like the like of Marcos Alonso and Sergio Roberto. But please, I want to make it straight here, Xavi, if he could hear me, if only he could hear me, I don't want to see Marcos Alonso and Sergio Roberto starting the game at the same time, because it's going to be a disaster. The defensive backline, don't change them, don't make 2 changes, just one. Change 1 player if you're going to change. I know maybe players like Inigo Martinez is Xavi may be willing to give him some game time, but that pair that we have, Kunde Christensen, is very important in the team actually. They are performing very well. I know maybe Xavi may think about giving Inigo Martinez some game time, but just be careful. At least you can't go with Inigo Martinez and Kunde, Inigo Martinez and Christensen, and then in this case maintain the full backs, maintain Cancelo, maintain Alejandro Balde. The others, if you are going to change one of the full backs, maintain the defensive line. don't make two changes in the defensive line. We have to be very careful with that, otherwise we are going to regret it. And also in the midfield, I think Romeo is going to start this game because we know that in the Champions League he did not start the game, he started on the bench, and we have to be very cautious with those players. Maybe Xavi may think of resting someone like Gundogan or Gavi, one of them, because Frenkie de Jong, he just played something around. He did not even play an hour in the Champions League game. He came out before the 55th minute of the game, and that was a nice move from Xavi, and we really appreciate it. He got like free time to rest. He did not play the whole game because we already got the 3 points. It was like everything was over, so he needed to make few changes. So in the midfield, I hope that maybe maintain Frenkie de Jong, and if you're going to make few changes, just change someone like Gundogan or Gavi, give them a rest. They have to rest and maintain Frenkie de Jong and Romeo in the middle. So in the front line, I think we are going to go with Lewandowski as always, and also joao Felix on the left hand side is going to be there. But the problem will be always in the offensive line is going to be the right back, the right wing position, because we have three players who are three strong candidates. So it's very difficult for me to say. It's very difficult for me to say it because it's getting complicated. You have Rafinha, Ferran Torres, and Lamine Yamal. It's like you can't go with any one of them. It's very interesting because every one of them can bring a lot to the team. Lamine Yamal, he's very young, and I think that the move that Xavi is like what he has done since the start of since the end of the international break. We know that Lamine Yamal had the possibility to play with Spain. It was very interesting, and people started talking all over the world. And the move that Xavi had, like to put him on the bench, like to reduce his game time, not to put him out there every single game, that's a very nice move that will help him like release the burden on him, and he can focus more on the football. And I think as of now, we have the possibility to start either Rafinha or Ferran Torres. You can go with one of them. In the Champions League game, Rafinha played against Betis. Ferran Torres start the game. In this case, Xavi, he might start changing, maybe starting Ferran Torres, and then Rafinha can come in the second half. That's a very nice move, and also Lamine Yamal can get his chance in replacing for Felix, and I think this is very good. This is very good for the team, like having those kind quality players who can come in as a substitute and then deliver and give you something really interesting. And I think actually the team is very interesting, and I hope that Xavi is going to give also that young player Fermin Lopez few games time, like few minutes, even if 30 minutes in this game against Celta Vigo. Because we have seen him in the Champions League, he was just very interesting. He came in and he tried like few interesting things. We have seen him like in the positioning, like trying to take a shot from outside the box. It's very interesting having those kind of players who dare like taking their chances outside the box and trying to score goals. That is very interesting. We have seen him. We know that he is capable of doing it because we have seen him against Real Madrid in the preseason game, the goal that he scored, and that is very good for us to have players who can come in and then make the difference and try to be present for the team. That is very interesting. Actually, I think this game we are going to try to get the 3 points as always. That's the objective. I think that we can win by 3 goals. I think 3-1 because I don't know, against Celta Vigo is always complicated. We got Aspas in front of us and it's always difficult. Against Barça, Aspas he's another kind of player. Even though he has problems with other teams, but if anytime he faces Barcelona, he's always super Aspas, and I hope this time he's not going to be that super, and we are going to win the game by just having fun as always, as we did against Betis and also against Royal Antwerp. So guys, don't forget to give me your pronostic, what you think of this game, how much are we going to win, if we are going to win or not. Give me your thoughts down below in the comment. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe the channel. See you in the next video. Ciao.